A very good morning to our esteemed partners, guests, and friends who have joined us both virtually as well as physically here in the new Bridge Plus 79 Robinson Road today. Welcome to the AI Demo Day, co-organized by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, and Bridge Plus. We are honored to have your participation and look forward to an exciting day of thought leadership. We are amid some very unusual times, but are thankful, nevertheless, to be able to continue having this yearly event for the continuous sharing and learning with our community. We are thrilled to be able to have this event at Bridge Plus 79 Robinson Road, Singapore. Bridge Plus is CapitaLand's flexible workspace and community development platform, spanning across 7 cities in Asia, including Shanghai and Bangalore. We first launched in Singapore Science Park in October 2017 and have become host to enterprises like Rev by AXA, the FinLab by UOB, as well as CapitaLand tenants Shopee, Johnson & Johnson, and Dyson. 79 Robinson Road is the newest addition to our Bridge Plus family and will play host to a curated FinTech community. Our community vision is to develop 79 Robinson Road into a destination in the center of the CBD of Singapore, where international FinTech communities can gather regularly to confer and collaborate as a community. We do so through our community development initiatives and thoughtful event-driven content programming to bring people together to make great things happen. We invite like-minded leaders and professionals who have an interest to contribute and give back to the community to co-locate and collaborate with us. Whether you are a leading enterprise setting up an innovation lab or a startup scaling up for growth in the region in today's fast-paced environment, we provide the community to help you succeed. Those with us here today will have first dibs before our official launch in January 2021. As such, do join us for a tour at the end of this session later. Now, doing AI for good is the main theme for this year's AI Summit. As such, we have invited various notable Singapore FinTech startups to share how AI can be used to shape a better future of financial services. To begin today's program, we would like to invite Mr. Supnendu Mohanty, Chief FinTech Officer of the MAS, to come on stage for the opening speech. Mr. Supnendu, in his role in MAS, is responsible for creating development strategies and regulatory policies around technology innovation to better manage risks, enhance efficiency, and strengthen competitiveness in the financial sector. Without further ado, let's place our hands together to invite Mr. Supnendu onto the stage. Mr. Supnendu, please.
This one? Okay. Good morning, everybody. It's a long last 3 days now gone. Good to see all of you still have good energy. For me, it's a tough time because of the SFF event, which started from Monday. And it's a overwhelming event for all of us, even in the online world. And I was sharing with a few of Shankar here that I really want to thank Singapore FinTech community to come together to really, to really come together to help us and make it work. This has been a fantastic event and also a lot of learning for myself. There are a few learnings, and I would like to share with you today before I go to the main topic why we are all here, is that when you have an event of this scale, you have many things you can't anticipate, and things you try, you do your best. And when we went live, we had login issues, and it sounds like we had a major problem. But when I'm sitting in that center, I see concurrent login of 23,000 people, and only 400 people have issues. But when I hear noise, it looks like everybody has an issues. And if I look at the 400 number, the bulk are people who are using corporate account to see, and I was instructed that we will put a security standard which is going to make it super secure, and that led to all these challenges. But we got over that, and the event went on. It's one of the, perhaps we got everybody in the world to come and share their knowledge, from Bill Gates to Sundar Pichai to Satya Nadella to yesterday night I was watching at midnight Nobel Prize winner Abhijit Banerjee. Then we had Vinod Khosla all talking, and it's beautiful insight. So I decided yesterday evening, late night, to make the content free for everybody. And so that we have collected 800 plus sessions of massive content. And it almost like if you are applying for a job, you can spend some 2 days on the content and go and attend an interview, you'll get through. It has got every possible knowledge you need to have for you to understand how 2020, what happened in 2020 and what you should do for 2021. Whether you are an AI specialist or you are a blockchain specialist or you are an API chap, there are masterclass, there are content. So I thought the best way to do it is to share with everybody the knowledge and let all of us come out of this crisis in a stronger way as you think 2021, the vaccine is coming in, hopefully we'll get our act together. So that's the big festival which we are going through. 2 more days to go. If anyone is looking to raise money, today is the Investors Day. And we have massive set of programs with the world's top PE firms are coming session by session. And in the way the model works this time, the Investor Summit, we don't have investor coming and giving you speech. In fact, we are putting a live show into their offices where they're talking about what are the 2021 strategies. If you want to understand what is KKR thinking, go and watch the show because the KKR big boss is talking about where you want to put money. So you want to get those insights, do join if you're looking to raise capital today. Today is the Investors Day. And tomorrow we'll talk about people and talent. Now, coming back to AI, 3 years back, we had 2-3 big focus. We did pretty well. We had a blockchain, a big focus, and we were quite methodical in getting there. We created a program called Project Ubin. We built a community. We brought everybody together. And today, Singapore is a leading hub in a blockchain space. So I told Sichun that we need to build something for the AI space. We need to make Singapore a leading hub, at least in Asia, to talk about AI. It's not about the people around in this room who are building great solutions. It's about build the community. And when I say build the community means get a big program running, get some grant out there, get some researchers out there, support the academics, and build a community around investors who will help to come together to raise money. So we started building this community together. In fact, we have a program called FinTech program, which is a link. If you're not a member of that, please join that member. It's a community program to build knowledge. We are also working very hard, hopefully next year, early next year, to create a special investors group who will invest in AI-based solutions. So you'll have a special access to these people, and certain part of our deal Friday will be dedicated to AI only. And further going down, we are also looking at building, and I think our API exchange platform has already matured a lot. In fact, the brand new upgrade has gone this weekend, like last weekend, and we're going to further use that platform to promote AI solutions to the financial institution around the world. Especially, we're going to push ourselves to get into the different banks, small banks in the Asian market. So if you are not part of the APIX membership, please join that because we have a new strategy in place and we are going to work with every country's banking association so that your solution reaches to them as soon as possible. So that's the program. In fact, the way we have framed the program for the AI strategy for Singapore for financial sector is build the platform, build an innovation network, and build a wider ecosystem so that we can collectively be more successful. Today, I was told that we have 20 Sichun, of solutions to be showcased. I'll be here watching these solutions. And we are quite excited that Singapore has come up very strongly in this space. I know few of you who have done extremely well. I can see my friend from Scream, who has been a partner with us for how many years? 4 years? From the day we started. So he has been with us, whether through our accelerator program or through our outreach program, or we showcase him whenever some guests come to Singapore. So they have been our brand ambassador. So I want each of you to be the brand ambassador for AI in Singapore. And if you need any help, please reach out to us. We'll make, and I hope once this COVID-19, we get our vaccination shots quicker, we will start coming together. I asked Sichun that we'll start building a community. Maybe Bridge Plus should be a place where we'll have a regular meeting. And with our partnership with Bridge Plus and developing this sector and this capacity, we can do regular meetings here. If you need capital, we'll work with investors to come and talk to you. If you need customers to look at a solution, we'll work hard to get them to reach to you, either digitally through the APIX platform or physically. And if you need to access our grants, and I think we just announced a refreshed grant on the AI schemes. In fact, Sichun, do you remember how many $1.5 million cap is there? So you have a lot of money from the schemes which you can use to tap in so that you can build a prototype and solutions. So with that, I wish all of you a great success for 2021. And again, as I said, we have opened up the SFF content free to all of you. We have curated it. There is a dedicated section for AI. Please look at it. And there are partner content. Then spread the news, spread the knowledge, because we have a big job to do. 2021 recovery time. And I'd like to end my note with two things. When we looked at the big investment number this year, half of the money went to FinTechs, which include all of you, who are helping small businesses to recover faster. If any one of you have any solution which can help small businesses to digitize and recover faster, please let us know. Our focus 2021 will be to help SMEs to get back on their feet. Because if they don't get back on their feet, world economy is going to collapse. They're 80% of GDP. They provide the most number of employment. And if they don't survive, largely we will not survive. So if any one of you have a solution for SMEs, please let us know. We'll work on a specific program next year to support them. With that optimism, I want to thank all of you once again. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Subnandu. Bridge Plus is definitely happy to work with you and your team moving forward. We would like to now invite Mr. Ashish Chanda from Crystal AI for the first sharing. Mr. Ashish, please.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Supnendu, for the nice note. So I'm Ashish from Crystal.ai. Crystal.ai is a wealth management platform. And as it's there in our name, we are part of the AI community and FinTech community for almost 5 years now. Jan 2016 is when we had started right here in Singapore. And going to have a proud 5th birthday very soon. So I won't take too much time and just jump into, and tell you more about Crystal. And just get the slides. Okay, thanks. So I'm not sure how this thing will going to work, but there. So Crystal.ai is, we started as a tech firm 5 years ago. And I teamed up with one of my batchmates from IIT Delhi. And we started to look at the problem that was there in the mass affluent space because there was a lack of advice, lack of transparency in the whole segment, which we wanted to solve. And what it led to was, a business model that serves the mass affluent segment. So what's happening in the private banking space across the globe is that there are people who go with the Bentleys and Rolls Royces of the world. So these are very well serviced, I would say, with the top tier private banks, name a UBS, CS, Morgan Stanley, and so on. Also, in the last 5 to 7 years, we have seen robo-advisory as a segment come up, which has been pretty disruptive in some sense. But it's also typically the account sizes are small, and it's helping people with to start small and then grow bigger, which is also a great segment to be in. But the positioning that we went for, where we actually found that the only technology that can help us was AI, was right in the middle segment. So there was this emerging high net worth, which was going unnoticed because the minimum account sizes in various private banks were going higher and higher just because of their cost structures are very manual driven. So what we said was that we need to do something almost identical to what a Tesla has done in the automobile industry. So when you go and open a Tesla, you see a big screen that you clearly know that algorithms are driving the car. And Elon Musk, sitting from his office wherever in California or Texas, wherever he is, can actually upgrade the software and the car can go 100 miles longer. So that was the whole thought process with which we started. And we said that we should actually go with a tech-first model we need to understand clients' profiles, their risk profiles, their preferences, and learn every day from them, their behavior, as well as from the market movements, and deliver the right appropriate solution in a transparent way. And hence, it's the mass affluent and emerging H&W segment that we chose to focus in a very tech-first way, and hence the Tesla analogy, which I thought would be appropriate. So what we also then look at is that the idea is not to have a completely digital model, it's a mix. So there is always value in having a hybrid model because, in the last, this year, we have seen that, yes, there are businesses which can adapt to digital, but, the fun or the love or the trust building of a face-to-face is always there. It's lesser and lesser, and probably rightly so. But, like I can tell you, I'm so glad. I couldn't believe that this year I will be talking to a group of people, even if it's like 20, 30, 40 people. But I've always spoken to screens this year. And I'm so glad to actually have a discussion here. So what we said that we should go with a hybrid model. Sorry, how do I get that? Yeah. Where we should look at enabling the wealth manager to become a super cop. What that means is, what that means is that we are here to develop tools, develop algorithms, get insights, and get all the technology to make a relationship manager, an advisor, become an Iron Man. So if you look at Iron Man, what is the image that throws in your mind? It's still a human being. It's a smart human being, but it's been given the tools that makes it super smart. So this is something where, I think the industry needed today, especially when you're servicing a large number of affluent clients. You need to have that personalization. And AI is the only technology that can deliver personalization. You need to have the right tools to get the efficiency so that your business model, your cost structure becomes super efficient. So yes, we said that let's not take the human being out, let's enable them. So this is about enabling a normal relationship manager or advisor to serve 10 times the number of customers that they're able to serve today. And in terms of the tools, so there are multiple operating systems on which we've released the app. We have Sacco Interactive and now working with even UOB and BOS to increase the fulfillment. Our CIO is an algorithm. We don't have a CIO. We have a big investment committee, but we actually we've said that algorithm is the one that drives the asset allocations. It's an ML algo, which has pieces of GA, genetic algo in it. And that's the one that drives the overall framework of going about advisory. And also, thanks to efforts like MyInfo that have come up here in Singapore, the onboarding process has become very, very seamless. So, so the way I go and boast to clients is that, you start making Maggi noodles and start, MyInfo KYC and see what happens first. And I can tell you it's MyInfo that happens first because Maggi sometimes takes longer than the 2 minutes that they promise. And also in terms of products, so it's not only restricted to ETFs and stocks, it's also, secondaries, pre-IPOs, venture caps. We have helped even channelize money into funds like KKR, into emergent ventures, and into a couple of other private pre-IPO kind of companies like Grab. So the marketplace model has become a lot more acceptable, and it's because we are tech-driven. For us to release a feature that makes the app a lot stronger, the advisors a lot stronger, does not take as long as what a traditional private wealth model used to take. So just a quick snapshot on what the overall segment has. So there are two segments. So for the retail, we go very simple, straightforward ETFs. Algorithm is your advisor, it's your sounding board, it's your friend. You can choose to go with it fully or partly. But you at least get a lot of learning. So there are ML-based algos that are ranking stocks, ranking ETFs. People can see what's happening, what are the factors behind it. So there's a lot of learning they can get once they are on the platform. So that's on the retail side. And private wealth becomes more and more like Netflix, where we try to see what is suitable and what is appropriate for you based on your profile. And we love to keep learning with every day as more data is generated. In terms of the asset classes, like I mentioned, it's a whole plethora of classes that we've enabled over the last 5 years. And thanks to MAS, that when we were in the sandbox, we did a rigorous testing of all the algos. And from there, we have adapted them to even further. And would love to see how we develop that to the next level. So on that note, I'll just thank everyone for this opportunity. And if we can go and look at a particular demo page and go into that, otherwise I'll just like to end here and happy to take any questions or anything if anyone has. Otherwise, thanks a lot. Okay, thank you everyone then. Oh, it's okay. It's fine. Yes. Yeah. The aggregate banking solutions, yeah.
This data will be available to only bank participants. Yes, that's true. That the banks will have come together using this SGF index to pull data, and they can see through the respective account individuals across different holdings, and they can see the data in one place. That's true. But if you're not there, there's other way to access the data. How? You can go to the FPDS with our MOM issued application, financial planning. There you can actually help get your customer to download a consolidated view, which also allows you to pull all the data. And that PDF, if you have smart technology, you can churn it out and create the same comprehensive portfolio for your clients. So just in case you don't feel that only banks have created a privilege among themselves to access data, it's not true. Yes, they have access to live data consolidation, but if you have to get your client to show the data for you to give some special service using AI, customer can download the PDF and send it to you for you to process, just in case you're thinking that you're out of this data access.
Thanks, sir. Actually, that's quite useful because this helps you create the spending pattern and the whole balance sheet of the client and then go about advising them.
But the client has to
provide that PDF, which is consolidated from the thing. Right. Correct. That's correct. So for example, in our ecosystem, some people do provide us with the DBS and BOS statements, which we parse. So now with this, they don't have to go and give us all 10 banks, and it's just exactly one shot we can get it. Correct. Okay, perfect. That's great. So thanks a lot. I think that's a great initiative which we'll definitely capitalize on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ashish and Mr. Sapnandu. We would like to now invite Mr. Shankar from Active AI for the next sharing session.
Thank you very much. It's been an exciting year, 2020 for all of us. Probably this is the first year in 27 years of me being in Singapore. I've never sat on a plane. But I must give credit to SFF 2020, Swapnendu and his team for building an amazing event across multiple countries, multiple geographies, multiple time zones. Thanks for the opportunity. So I'll just give you a snapshot of what Active AI is. Active AI is a completely Singapore homegrown startup. We started in 2016. Three co-founders got together. We were in the banking space. I was selling into the bank. One of my co-founders was in a bank. So we've had a knowledge base interacting with the financial services throughout our lives, at least the careers. So in 2016, we realized that the engagement model for banks are going to change. The shift was happening because unstructured data was us getting more and more popular. I mean, messaging was just scaling up. And effectively, the number of new banking customers coming on board, digital, using digital as a platform. So we saw 10 years of mobile first, and we saw an advent of AI first coming in, So that's when we got into the game and we said, all right, let's kickstart an AI startup which addresses fundamentally customer engagement model. So what is the problem we tried to solve is we realized that if you have about 10 million customers, out of that 2 million are using mobile app, but the interactivity on the call center is pretty high. So how do we engage those customers who are either calling or using their WhatsApps to be able to engage in an automatic fashion, right? And they don't download the apps. And how do we build a data seamlessly integrated into the back end of the banks to be able to service that? So you've heard bots, chatbots across. It's been there for the last 3-4 years, but the underlying technology of the AI to serve both IVR, chatbots across all the platforms is what we brought to the table. So we call it conversational AI, and we are very focused in banking and financial sectors. So we have been fundamentally focused on serving the financial services. We realize we have a large segment of customers who need secure transactions, and our focus has been delivering secure transactions. So the underlying platform has 3 key pillars on our side. One is the APIs, which seamlessly integrate with the backends of the financial institutions. And it's become easier over the years because banks have developed fantastic APIs, which we can seamlessly integrate into. We address front-end channels. It's addressing front-end channels. So let me give you an example, right? So if you start a conversation on your IVR, then move on to an Alexa, and then come on to an app, and then move back to IVR, having the same context and a session. Today, you can't do that, right? But I believe that in the coming future, that is going to happen because when comprehensive middleware which can handle all these services. And that is what our aim is, and that's what we are delivering in the market right now. So just to give you since 2016 when we started, we did our first bank, and that was a bank in India, which we have had an opportunity to work in the past. And then we tested our product in the early days, build a transaction-based services. And over the last 2 years, the phenomenal surge which has happened among all our customers. We have about 20 banking customers across the world, and 4 of the largest banks in India, private sector banks, are our customers. Just to give you some numbers, we have about 150 million plus. I mean, the numbers are much higher. It's growing every day. Because give you a data point, one of the banks, which is our customer, which is Kotak, which we service on a multi-channel, they do about anywhere between 5 to 6 million interactions a month, and it just scaled up. So during the 2020 COVID, staff were working out of home, and the interaction on multiple channels, digital channels, just shot up. And chatbots became a key entry point. But then how do you seamlessly integrate and offer transaction-based services? That's the key thing, right? You need to have intelligence built into the bots. We were the first one to launch Alexa voice-based services in India, and this is one of the banks which is already, it's interesting. I mean, it's a slow pickup because the number of voice-based IoT devices in the home are slowly increasing, but the banking transactions to happen on voice IoT, we are seeing the early days, and it is going to happen. So the momentum is there, and it's picking up as we see it. WhatsApp. So WhatsApp opened up. So it's like taking a step forward and taking 2 steps back, right? What I mean is, SMS used to be a big entry point into doing the early days before the apps came out. Used to be, you press a number and then you send an SMS and you will get your balance. Now WhatsApp is a slightly higher level because the interface is on GPS. But the amazing thing is we launched WhatsApp banks, and we are launching several of them with the banks. And not just the transaction-based services are seeing a surge. The multiple divisions of the banks are now interested in, so your mutual fund or a loans department, they all want to be part of this value chain because they are seeing the customer engagement, which is happening these through channels, are making it better for them, right? And they are able to scale, right? They are able to reach new target market. So as Active AI, we vertically cover retail banking. We are going to announce soon, probably next year, we're going to go live with a bank which in 2020 we signed up for multi-country for corporate banking. We are probably the first in Asia Pacific to do capital markets stock trading on messaging, which is live in HDFC Bank in India, HDFC Security, sorry, in India. And the amazing thing is we are able to buy, sell stocks, and we are seeing people starting to utilize that channel to be able to actively engage on a 24/7 basis. Insurance, we see this is one of the key customers we have, key customers we have in Singapore, NTUC Income. We're very happy to say that they are scaling up. They are looking at doing multiple projects. We have been doing a lot of innovative stuff in this space. What we're seeing is the trend for AI-based conversational engagement is on the upswing, right? The bots are getting better. The integrated platform is the need of the hour. Active AI provides that. Bot is just one channel for us, right? And we are creating infrastructure for what we call it machine comprehension, which is ability to read your document. If you have 8,000 legal document, you'll be able to read it, comprehend it, and present it in the front. That's a very unique use case which we are doing with some wealth management customers of ours. So we are, as we go along, we are innovating. We are seeing the surge. We have done a product market fit on our side. Hopefully this year end, during the COVID, we were all working from home. But the amazing thing is we have got a lot more customers who is coming on board. I mean, we are signing deals over Zoom. And we should be EBITDA positive. I mean, we're hoping for EBITDA positive this year. That's going to be a big milestone for us. But there's something more. We are not stopping at this. We realize the future of AI engagement is to have digital people. What I mean in short is avatars, right? The future is going to be having digital people engaging, understanding your emotions, able to see you, interact based on your behavior. Now, I would be very happy to announce a partnership with a company called Soul Machines, which we are Active AI has got into. Just to give a quick background, Soul Machines builds digital people, and they have been, the key founders have built the digital brain, and some of the Hollywood awards they have won. I think Lord of the Rings, Gollum was done by them. Just to give you a sneak peek. There's a video, my dear.
Hi and welcome to the 2020 Singapore FinTech Festival. My name is Trinity and I'm a digital person created by Soul Machines in partnership with Active AI. I'm really happy to be here today. Do you want to hear more about Soul Machines and our partnership?
This is a human glitch. Okay, let me take stock to talk through this. What we did was the avatar APIs, the digital people API is provided by Soul Machines. And we created a simple hook into our AI platform, and that's what we wanted to show it to you today. What we see the future is physical branches are going to slowly transform. And if you have a 24-hour branch, which is an ATM machine, How do you interact if you have to have a digital people there, and how contextually able to serve them, right? And we see a lot of other use cases for this.
Sorry, just bear with us for a second here while we sort out the technical issues.
Hi and welcome to the 2020 Singapore FinTech Festival. My name is Trinity and I'm a digital person created by Soul Machines in partnership with Active AI. I'm really happy to be here today. Do you want to hear more about Soul Machines and our partnership?
I would love to.
Great. Soul Machines and Active AI have partnered to revolutionize the future of customer experience and reimagine human and machine interactions using digital people, like me, for various use cases related to banking, finance, and more. I could help you with things like checking your balance or getting a new credit card or loan. Not to mention, digital people are available 24/7 and can speak multiple languages. Isn't that cool?
That sounds really cool.
I couldn't agree more. Soul Machines and Active AI are excited to partner and looking forward to using digital people to help with all your transaction and banking needs soon. Please reach out if you're interested in learning more. See you soon.
Bye.
So actually, I'm actually speaking to her. I mean, there's a delay, if you notice, but I'm actually speaking to her, and the camera is on, and if I move my head, I smile, she smiles back at me, right? So this is an early version, which we're seeing this is going to evolve. The technology is going to evolve as the bandwidth gets better, 5G network gets better. It's going to be pretty seamless. And that's how we see, as Active AI, seeing how we are evolving from bot to a conversational AI stack to delivering IVR and voice-based services to avatars in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shankar.
Because I was trying to get, for your clients, this is called My Money Sense. Yeah, that's where anybody can go and pull the data using SyncPass from all the bank accounts they have. So if a customer is using a tool, this way to go, My Money Sense, and then they can log in with SyncPass and pull all data. Sorry, my money matters made simple. My Money Sense.
We would like to now invite Mr. Ian Chapman Banks from Screen for the next sharing session. Thank you.
Good morning. Nice to see you all. My name is Ian Chapman Banks. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Screen Technologies, and I'd like to kind of take you through kind of our mission and our vision and where we see certainly artificial general intelligence going in the future. So what we've done is a little bit different to a lot of other companies. Is the fact is that we've built what we call AGI. So what does AGI do? What does it mean? It means that the data that is fed into the engine can be completely, let's call it unsupervised. It can be vast amounts of data, and the engine will make sense of the data and make its own decisions. So we've actually taught the engine to program itself in real time based on the data and then make decisions. So it's the world's first artificial general intelligence engine that actually can code itself, reprogram itself in real time. Now, to do that, there's one big but. You have to be able to acquire about 95% of the world's unstructured data to do that. So what we have done over the past 10 years, with crawlers going 24/7, API'd into Google, we pull down every search that occurs in every country every day, 5.3 billion searches. We actually have the click traffic to every website that everybody goes to in every country every day. We have hundreds of thousands of crawlers that go out, shake hands with that website, say, I come in peace, and then actually read that website for content and context. What does that mean? We have search, we have links, we have backlinks to websites, and we read the websites for content and context. If you fuse that together with an artificial general intelligence engine, what do? Well, you have the ability to predict human behavior, human intent. I'm intending to do something. This has a multitude of uses. And I'm going to explain a couple of these cases, and in terms of the financial services industry, what are we doing? So there's two markets that we are focusing on. One is the digital advertising media buying market, which is, you can see here, $200+ billion, growing at about 15-20%. And then is what we call the enterprise AI, where we're actually running anomaly detection at scale. And in addition to that, we can actually detect fraud. You just don't wake up in the morning and decide to actually commit fraud or money laundering. It's a change in behavior, which we can actually look at as we take this unstructured data. Also, the world's biggest data fusion experiment is going on, not in Singapore, but in Japan with Rakuten. They have a database of 110 million people, which is 90% of the Japanese population. Names, addresses, telephone numbers, permissions to use their data. Every website they've been to and every product they bought off Rakuten fused with our data is now actually powering Rakuten's digital bank. It's powering Rakuten's insurance company. It's actually powering Rakuten's e-commerce business, which is actually the biggest e-commerce business in Japan. Huge, huge business. So what we've been able to do is take one set of data, our AI, and sometimes other clients' data, but 95% of the time we don't need it. And we're able to actually start building constructs and intent probability matrices to really understand intent, helping people either help brands understand path to purchase journeys. Here's a list of the logos. We're deeply embedded in the pharma world. We're now moving into drug discovery. You may have read about DeepMind. We are further down the tech stack of DeepMind. We're actually finding, before they get to evolve the proteins, we're actually discovering the molecules that will be suitable for the disease states, and then DeepMind does the replacing the crystal X-ray crystallography to actually map the proteins. You can see that we're working with a whole host of banks. I'm going to explain a product we're rolling out actually tomorrow with 2 banks to talk about how we're now actually doing massive customer acquisition at scale in about 40 countries. And then in Japan, with Rakuten, we're powering an incredible amount of brands on their insights, customer understanding, and customer acquisition. So here's Scream. We've been going 10 years, won lots of awards. Obviously, Sotmendu is here. We've been winners of the FinTech Festival twice, which is nice. Won lots of competitions. We've got 180 people. I've actually hired 50 engineers this year into Manila. Our Manila operation is about 160 AI engineers. And we will hire an additional 250 AI engineers next year. And Singapore, to be honest, is not interested in hiring AI engineers with Scream, but talking very closely with Cambridge University, for example, where they're building a development center for us to actually hire 250 postgrads in AI engineering. And then by the end of next year, we will have to hire another 1,000 AI engineers, which of course not possible in Singapore. So we'll be looking at development centers around the world. We will have as many AI engineers within 12 months than I would say. 180 AI engineers puts us probably the biggest AI engineering team in Singapore. So we're no longer a startup, we're no longer an SME, we're actually a small multinational with business in 40 countries. So we're just going into our $30 million fundraise. We've raised $12 million. Even through COVID, we've actually doubled our revenues. We were hoping for 300% growth, but we got 200%. Last year we did 300%. Next year we'll do between 300 and 500%. Our projections take us to NASDAQ 2022, September, about $2 to $3 billion valuation. And that's just the start of the journey of what we're going to be doing in terms of using AI for different financial services. Now, why is this interesting to financial services? Well, buying digital media and SMEs. Why is digital media so difficult? It's hard, it's complex, and understanding each journey is quite unique. Nobody clicks on the same set of websites at the same time to buy a product, to acquire a checking account, to acquire a mortgage, to buy a car, to actually acquire a credit card or use a credit card. So each journey is unique. So there's no such thing as personas. People like to talk about personas. Jack, Jill, Wendy, Paul. They're a composite of hundreds of millions of behaviors, which is nice for marketing people to actually show to their bosses. But in reality, from a business perspective, it really is completely a waste of time. So lots of problems with digital media. We know the reason why. 1 in 500 people click on an ad, right? We are now getting click on ads 30x. Now, what have we done? How do we do this? Well, there is a huge ad exchange, and we're kicking this off tomorrow with one bank tomorrow in Singapore, and then another bank next week. We've built the world's first digital marketplace in the ad tech ecosystem, a digital AI-run marketplace where we've mapped over 2.5 million behaviors, which correspond to every single financial services product in every country in the world. These 2,500 behaviors represent slivers of segments of people, and we've matched it to every publisher in every country. So we have access to 97% of all the publishing inventory. We've actually mapped every behavior in every country. And for financial services, all you do as a bank is you plug it in, and actually it goes out on its own, optimizes, and actually acquires customers for you. Now, of course, that's just financial services. We've done the same in pharma. We've done the same in e-commerce. We've done the same in every industry that we go into. 95% of our business is outside, actually, exaggeration, 98% of our business is outside of Singapore. Japan, every country in Europe, UK, US, Canada, Mexico, Argentina, Colombia, Brazil. So we are truly a small multinational company that has its HQ in Singapore. Again, but 98% of the employees do not work in Singapore. They actually work outside of Singapore for obviously logistical reasons. So one market, launching tomorrow. We've been testing it for, believe it or not, we've been testing it for 5 years. It's taken us 5 years to build a completely AI-run digital ecosystem based on behaviors and then matching those behaviors to publishers. This is a very complex ecosystem. There's 7,000 companies in this ecosystem. None of them are essentially making money. Think of advertising agencies, all to service an advertiser. Now, okay, that's a bit weird. So, yeah, I can't read that. Okay, so how does this apply to financial services? Well, I can say that we are the only company in Singapore to have ever been onboarded with the US intelligence agencies, ever. We are the only company in Singapore to be onboarded by DARPA. DARPA is the most advanced research institute in the world for government intelligence. The 17 US intelligence agencies use DARPA as the frontier of its knowledge. We have 80 of the world's best behavioral scientists in Maryland using our constructs, using our modeling. And what are they doing? They're tracking in real time fraud, malfeasance, money laundering at source. So this probably is now one of the biggest initiatives in the United States government for actually tracking money laundering at source, terrorist money flows, and it's all been run out of DC. Very powerful. It's now being rolled out to the Five Eyes. The Five Eyes are Australia, UK, New Zealand, Australia are the Five Eyes. In addition to that, we've also started to implement this in other European countries through the joint initiatives that the US intelligence agencies have with NATO. So this is one of the world's largest forensic money laundering operations to actually start tracking forensically money laundering. We also, within 18 days, built the world's first automated contact tracing platform, and the MOH helped us bring that up to speed. This is now being deployed in Europe. It's been deployed by the Ministry of Defence in the UK to actually looking at contact tracing. By the way, it's the same platform as the money laundering platform. exactly the same. We can actually detect interactions between people at less than 1 meter. And that's how we do the behavioral geo-targeting. Pharma tech, we have an ability in our engine has read every single medical textbook that's ever been published. Every single paper, every single peer-reviewed article in the pharmaceutical world that's ever been published at any university, our engine has run it, and we've built the world's biggest knowledge base in the pharma world around drug discovery. What are the applications? We're helping pharma companies understand what doctors want. We're understanding the issue around patients. What content does patients want? What help does patients want? And then in addition to that, we can actually then find out by trawling through all these research papers, what molecules that are undiscovered can be used to treat diseases. There is an interaction right now that no one knows about that we discovered for one of our clients between mouthwash and diabetes. If you use a particular mouthwash every day for 5 years, there's an 85% chance that you will catch diabetes. Why? Our engine discovered that the mouthwash turns off the enzyme which breaks down the sugar in your mouth, and actually over 5 years will actually cause diabetes because the sugar molecule is not being broken down. So that just gives you indication of the granularity that we can go to. Fraud detection I spoke about, the biggest initiative in the world, is being run by Scream, being run by DARPA, and being run by 80 forensic scientists for the US government to track money laundering on a massive scale. Ever since ISIS was disbanded, we've moved on to other theaters of the world. We've been doing this with the US government since 2016. As I said, probably the only company that's ever been onboarded from Singapore with US intelligence agencies and with DARPA. So we started off with UBS. We actually discovered a significant number of fraud in UBS. It was then sense checked by Pricewaterhouse and actually discovered that there was significant money laundering going on in UBS in around about 2016 to 2018. That's it. So we're raising money. We're going to hire 250 people next year. We're looking for 30 million. Interestingly enough, we've got lots of interest outside Singapore. We've got term sheets coming in from Cambridge University. We've got term sheets coming in from London. We've got term sheets coming in from LA. Doesn't seem to be a massive interest in Singapore, but that's okay because we'll be able to raise all the money outside of Singapore. And our last fundraising, all our investors came from outside of Singapore. Anyway, thank you very much. That's the Scream story. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. We would now like to invite Ethan from Synopsys for the next sharing session. Ethan, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ethan. I'm the sales manager for Synopsys Solutions. It's really excited to have the opportunity to stand here and present our solutions to you. So without further ado, I will walk through our slides with you. So quick through. Yeah. So basically, Synopsys Solutions, we are focusing on AML KYC software solutions. So we provide full digital onboarding and AML KYC solutions. So we were founded back in 2014. We have been operational for 6 years already. Founded by seasoned and banking and compliance professionals that made up the management team. And the first office is set up and headquartered in Singapore. So we are actually located in MES building. We are the only AML KYC RegTech company that's located in MES building. And over the years, we actually set up office and it's now operating in Vietnam, Taiwan, Abu Dhabi, and also London. And we now actually just newly set up our office in US, San Francisco. These are part of our strategy to basically reach out and penetrate other regions because we do serve clients globally. And we actually want to provide, first-hand client service and also sales support to our clients in those regions. Okay. Yep. So what is our goal? So basically our goal is to simplify compliance process and help our clients, businesses to achieve regulatory advantage. As you know, KYC processes are never easy if we are doing manually. Of course, the bigger organizations like the banks, financial institutions, they have their own KYC framework, they have their own processes, but with regulatory requirements becoming ever stringent, sometimes their current processes may not actually fulfill those requirements. And so this is where we come in to actually provide our tailor-made solutions to help them comply to the latest fulfill AML KYC regulatory requirements. So these are our AAA products. So from Aries, we have digital onboarding. Then, of course, where clients, when they open an account with the bank or with any financial services, they will need to actually onboard themselves and provide the information to run the eKYC verification. And then once that is done, you will go down to our Artemis to run the PP sanctions adverse news screening. And then, of course, once the client has been cleared for KYC, they want to send in transactions. We also have the transaction monitoring tool to actually monitor and identify suspicious transactions. Okay. So in the next few slides, I will basically share with you a little bit more details on our product. So first one is Aries. So Aries is the digital onboarding platform, basically for our clients to do non-face-to-face remote onboarding, especially in COVID-19 times where more and more banks, financial institutions are offering services online. So Aries will be a very handy tool for them to actually onboard their clients remotely and then do the necessary identification and verification processes. So what Aries does is basically it can be actually run on API or SDK integration, or we can do a white labeling solution for our client. So change the logo to their company's logo. So that can be done. So in Aries itself, you'll cover OCR, facial comparison, liveness tests, to fulfill the eKYC requirements. So the customers will usually go through a digital journey, onboarding journey. So first step would probably be them, providing their profile particulars. So they can usually upload their ID documents like national ID, passport, driver's license, which are the main supported ID documents accepted based on the FATF requirement. So they upload the ID documents, maybe they upload a passport. Our system will do an OCR extraction of the details based on the barcode. In the passport, there's a barcode, the machine readable zone. You extract out those details. And then if you notice, there's a 2-digit at the barcode, the MRZ zone. You will actually do a digit code check on that to authenticate whether the passport is a true copy or is a fake copy. Same goes for national ID. And of course, in the future of eKYC, more and more companies, of course, want to go into digital identity databases like our MyInfo. So in Singapore, MyInfo, we can actually integrate to MyInfo so that when the customer sign up an account, they can pull out, extract their personal information down to the fields there. So it's definitely authenticated ID information. Yeah. So once they have actually fill in the information, the next step will we also have required documents. So required documents in Aries basically when customers they open an account, there's some account opening forms or any kind of letter of engagement or asset liability forms that certain financial institutions have, then require the customers to fill in. We can actually integrate those forms into Aries so that everything is done digitally, and we also can run digital signature as well. So once that is done, the next step will be liveness test. So liveness test is a critical component where we actually do a facial biometric scan of the customer's face and then do a facial comparison against their ID document. So meaning to say, it will basically authenticate and verify whether the person is the real person with the ID document and actually not an imposter. Yeah, to sort of do a verification. And then lastly, we have phone verification, which will do a 2-factor authentication as per the requirement of MAS and as well as other regulatory bodies. Yeah. So once the customers actually, provided all the information and the documents, they can it will actually be feeded down to our next platform, which is the Artemis system. So this is our Artemis system. So just now, Aries is more for the customer-facing platform. So for your customers to actually, onboard themselves. Once they've done that, it will go down to Artemis. So this one will be used by the client onboarding or the compliance team to actually run the AML KYC screening, which will go through the PP sanctions adverse news. So on Artemis, basically, in this platform, first, when the users use the system, we also have a user management access. So there's a level, user permissioning level. So basically, it will let the users to assign the permission accordingly. So there will be the first level will definitely be the data input channels, can be either through Aries or manual processing, or it can even be channeled down via API. And then, of course, if there is a medium risk case, there's a name hit or high risk cases, that will be escalated to the level 2, which are usually the compliance team to go in and review those cases. And then, of course, high risk cases will be escalated to the level 3 users. So these are actually, stopgap measures that we have in place in the system. So on Artemis itself, we actually are global partners with Dow Jones and World-Check, which I think most of you are familiar with them. So we actually incorporate their database into our system. And the difference between us and them is basically because we are not just doing KYC screening, we also do risk assessment, ongoing due diligence, which is an important part of KYC process, as well as record keeping functions as well. So our system is definitely configurable. So basically, once the customer data go into Artemis, you'll run the screening on PP sanction adverse news. And then, so let's say, Heng Swee Keat, you do a name search on him, he will definitely be captured as a PP. So on that side, we also have incorporate natural language processing with AI and machine learning, meaning to say we will have a fuzziness logic and as well as a data filtering mechanism to basically give you the relevant hits. So you don't want to actually put in maybe Heng Swee Keat, but there can be thousands of this person with the same name, and you have to go through 10, 20 false positive results. So we actually automate and accelerate those reviewing process for you so that you will actually get exact or a handful of matches from the database sources. Okay, so we also have internet search as well, meaning internet search would be, actually it's like a smart internet search. So we basically crawl Google and incorporate natural language processing to tag the entity or the person's name against adverse keywords, such as maybe corruption, bribery, tax evasion, embezzlement, these kind of words, and then actually give you results relevant to that person, financial news relevant to that person, okay? Yeah, so at the end of it, once the reviewing process is done, the system will actually churn out a risk assessment report for the client and tells you, hey, whether your client, be an individual or a corporate entity, are they low risk, medium risk, or high risk? So these are based on risk factors like your country, your tax, your screening structure, and operational risk. So we'll screen against FSI, FATCA, OECD, these kind of factors to actually give you a comprehensive risk assessment, and it's automated for you. Yep. So then from there, the level 3 or the level 2 user approval will go and approve whether they want to onboard or they want to reject the client. So this is basically Artemis. So once they have cleared for KYC, the customer is good to actually open an account. If they are sending in transactions, then this is where our Athena product will come into play to help you in terms of transaction monitoring. So Athena will basically instantly help you to identify, suspicious transactions that your customers may be actually doing. So when they send in the transactions, in Athena itself, it usually has a set of predefined rules and algorithm. So these rules are according to the FedEx requirements. So these are like your rules, like your multiple transactions from one remitter to multiple beneficiaries, sudden high-value transactions, aggregated high-value transactions that suddenly pops up. So basically, on Athena itself, you actually identify these patterns and let your team know. So there is also data analytics, not just on Athena, but also on Aries itself to actually do a management reporting to your team to show you what are the data, what are those cases that has violated the most rules, which clients from which countries actually been flagged as high-risk cases. So these are kind of the things that we actually incorporated into our products, and these are end-to-end systems, so they can all be integrated together. Okay. So these are the kind of clients that we work with, and we are also very honored that among our audience today, some of you are actually already our clients. So we do work with actually banks, financial institutions, retail banking, corporate investment banking, financial institutions, insurers, reinsurers, trusts, fund managers. These are some of the clients that we work with. MNCs can be, and then of course, FinTech and blockchain startups, FinTech companies. We are working with digital payments, remittance, cryptocurrency exchange companies, robo-advisories as well. Yeah, so these are some of the clients that we do have from the blockchain and fintech space. And of course, casinos, gaming sector, and professional service, which are basically more of the tail end, non-financial service providers like your corporate secretaries, big accounting firms, and of course, law firms as well, and also even jewelry retailers, which they have to comply to regulatory requirements under MINLAW. Yeah. And then, of course, these are some of our accolades that we actually pick up over the years. So for a company, that has been around for 6 years, we're actually doing pretty fine ourselves. So the products that you've seen just now, Aries and Artemis, is actually an award-winning product. Aries is a MAS FinTech award-winning product in 2018. Yeah, so this basically proves our credentials in this AML and eKYC space. Okay. And then, of course, this quick overview of our management committee. So the company is co-founded by our CEO, Chai Kit, and as well as Aver. Chai Kit is previously the global head of compliance for Macquarie Bank. And of course, Aver is also the head of compliance in his previous financial institutions in Manulife as well. And then, of course, our chief revenue officer, Dan Po, he has previous management experience in Deutsche and JP Morgan Bank. So all our management and ourselves, we are all coming from compliance and banking background. So definitely any kind of regulatory requirements from MES as well as global regulators, our system will actually automatically cover and update for you. So you don't have to be concerned on those requirements. Yeah, so that's all there is for my presentation. So if you have any questions or you like to have a chat with me, you can look for me at the booth. I'll be happy to chat with you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ethan. We'd like to now invite Ms. Angeline Leong on the stage for the next sharing. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Kobe. However, I am from Singapore, not from Japan. I do not sell beef either. That's the most common questions that people ask me. So what is Kobe all about? Most of the time they call us Kobe, but actually we stand for a Chinese word. Okay, and the word, if some of you may be able to recognize, the word is pronounced as Kobe, which stands for word of mouth. And that's what we do as well. We are specialists in influencer marketing. Okay, and we serve quite a broad range of industries, including the financial, insurance, or even fintech industries. So we use a little bit of AI in our matchmaking tool. I'm going to share with you a little bit how that matchmaking works. So when people hear that, okay, you are running an influencer agency, so you must have a lot of pretty popular faces. So who's on your board? Who's on your network? But actually, we don't stand for any of the popular pretty faces. It's about the strategy, the outcome. Because end of the day, if you are looking at why we are sitting here today at 79 Robinson Road on the morning, we came because we heard about something about a SFF, about a switch. We heard about our friends giving us good recommendations from LinkedIn, from WhatsApp. It's all about peer recommendations. Am I going to see an ad and just convert and purchase? No, I don't think so. We're all smart. We all can do research. And we want to all find out what's best for us. So that's the power of word of mouth. And I was just thinking, if word of mouth is so powerful, can we scale it? Can we measure it? Can we make it more accessible to all advertisers? So that's what we stand for. Recent good news, next year is our 6th year of operations. So we've recently been crowned the Influencer Agency of the Year Award by Marketing Interactive. We got 2 awards. One is the Gold Global Award and one is the Local Award. We are also official partners with Facebook and TikTok. And we've got almost 6,000 influencers now covering across Southeast Asia. We've got offices HQ in Singapore and then 5 other satellite offices across Southeast Asia. Interesting fact is that we've got a patented technology. It took 4 years. We filed our patent in 2017. We just got it granted like this year, 2 months ago. So this patented technology, which really is a matchmaking technology. It enables us to matchmake influencers and brands more accurately. Okay, so 3 things that are different about us. Number 1, 0 management fees, 0 consultant fees, 0 man hours fees, not the typical of a marketing agency. We only tell our clients, if we produce results, you pay us. If we don't, that's fine. Because we want a word of mouth to work for you. So that's outcome driven. The second one is we only do relevant influencers. Doesn't matter whether you're finding a female, a male, a pretty, not pretty, race, language, religion, whoever can help you to influence the outcome for you, we want that person. So you might be surprised, out of our 6,000 influencers, it comes from all shapes, sizes, colors, human beings, and non-human beings as well. Well, I'm not talking about supernatural here. Dogs, cats, we all have them. Okay, and then lastly, because we are AI driven, everything is in a one-stop in our influencer management system, the one that's patented. So our clients usually just log on and everything is pretty convenient over there. They just sit back and celebrate the results. So this is a broad range. So I understand that a lot of us here sitting in the finance industry, we serve that too. Most of the times, people think that you must be serving the food, fashion, and makeup. Yes, it forms a big bulk of our customers, but we serve a very diverse range of customers. You might find people like a health promotion board here, MAS here, and banks and insurance companies. And they are readers, read content to convert. Are you blocking ads? Half of us, yes. Are we mentally blocking ads even though we did not install an ad blocker? Yes. When we pass by an MRT station and there is someone with a lanyard holding a stack of flyers, do we take a detour? Yes. We block ads, and how do people then convert? They read content, they read blogs, they read reviews. So that's where we get to the end customers of these brands to get them to increase their consideration, their interest for the products and services. And influencer marketing has proven a 6-time ROI. So 6 years ago when we started this company, it was like, what is this? But today it's pretty booming. I'm sure a lot of us has heard it on news and all that stuff. So pretty broad range of customers here. So I'd like to share with you an example of how does a financial institution, most of the time we think that, okay, can you ask the blogger or the influencer to talk about my card benefits and then, just write that the card is so, privileged, they have so many discounts. It actually doesn't work that way. We need to be curating the story, curating the influencer and weaving the story into their lives so that it makes sense. We all can smile, we can all smell an advertisement from a mile away. We are also smart, right? Before I go to a restaurant, we're going to read the reviews. And then when we read the reviews, we make our own decisions. I must be fake reviews. It is so sponsored, fake. We are too smart. So our job is to make sure that our content can weave in, the content can make sense for our customers and their objectives. So in this example, Prudential, what they did was very smart. They stand for insurance, but they are not going to hard sell insurance all the way. We are all very conditioned to believe that that doesn't work. So for Prudential, they advocate healthy lifestyle. And if you ask the influencer, just say that, oh, be healthy, buy Prudential. It's great, promotion right now. However, what they did was a squats challenge, getting an influencer to do a squats challenge, putting up online, telling a story about it. It reached many eyeballs. Why? Because we understand that the end consumers, what they want is not just to portray that they have a healthy lifestyle. They like a challenge. They like to build social currency on social media. We mark attendance on social media, really. If you receive a gift from someone, you got to say thank you on social media. If you visit a fancy cafe, you got to mark attendance on social media. So there is a lot of cognitive behaviors happening on social media, and it has infiltrated our lives, really, social media. A lot of us are probably having our apps switched on WhatsApp or on Facebook right now as I'm speaking. So in order for us to enter the world of social media, to gain that for our marketing objectives, we need to be able to come up with a good concept, such as Prudential. So for those that, I prepared 3 case studies so you can understand a little bit more how this works. Casetify, maybe you're familiar, it's a handphone case brand. It's 3 years old thereabout, but today I think they are worth probably billions. Okay, we do a regional campaign for them. Every month, we engage 150 influencers per country. So we are working on 6 countries for them, Singapore included, and the rest of Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines. And that's 150 times 6 influencers per month for one client. In the past, it was never possible because you don't have technology. How are you going to manage so many influencers? Human influencers are human too, and humans that actually are popular require a little bit more dedicated attention. So with technology, with AI, we can do that at scale and very quickly. So with that, we are able to reach millions of eyeballs just a month. And the last one, a little bit more traditional. We all know about Ayataka Tea House. Well, the standard, what we call as a joke, hold and pose. See, I can hold something and I just smile in the camera. And then we put it online and say, oh, it's so nice to drink. Come on, everybody drink it. But we all hate it because it's all fake. It doesn't tell a story. So end of the day, what could we do? We actually organized a tea tasting event when we could, of course. Right? During this tea tasting event, we brought on kimonos, traditional Japanese costumes. We brought on a tea master that is good at brewing tea. You create a really nice event. And of course, if you're a social media personality, when you go to a place which is nicely decorated and you have beautiful costumes to try on, you would. Would you create more content to mark attendance? You would. And at the end of the day, when you're participating in the tea brewing ceremony, would you take content of it? You would. And the intent was actually strategized, because at the end of the day, what we are trying to tell people is that it's authentic tea. And because it's authentic tea, we got a authentic tea master to brew it and to endorse it right from the start. It tells people that sense of credibility without me even having to say it's authentic for even one time. You got it already. So that's the power of content. It sells with no sell. So that's Ayataka. And that's all for us. If you'd like to contact us, we have our QR code here. And we hope to be able to help any of you if you like to have some word of mouth to scale your content, to engage any content creators, YouTubers, Instagrammers. You may reach out to us. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Evangeline. We shall now take a short break, and our next broadcast will be at 10:35 a.m. Thank you.
quite a few blockchain focused companies in Bridge Plus itself, which is pretty rare in other places.
I think what a company really needs is support, and the environment here is very flexible. So you can talk to the Bridge Plus people, and they can, look for spaces for you that is actually catered to the needs of your company at that time. And you can scale down, you can scale up, and that flexibility is really crucial, especially if you're a small business and you have got cost considerations. I think that the little added touches are really nice too. Like the special community lunches, as well as the screenings, as well as coffee every day and the fruits, and these little touches actually really make a working environment feel very friendly and welcoming. And so I think the team love coming to work, and that's what we really want the team to feel.
It's a vibrant. I think that's a good point. It's very comfy and homely, and I see a lot of passion in this place.
I like that Bridge Plus is pretty casual, but still classy. And I like that they're constantly improving and trying to innovate themselves with new initiatives, new projects. So I enjoy the vibrant culture and the state of movement that's always here.
The thing that actually got us to consider this space, number one, was the accessibility in terms of the how close we are to the MRT. That is very, very key. Secondly, of course, rental is not something that is like, whoa, this is way expensive. I can't afford it. And to me, and of course, the facilities are new. You walk in here and it's like, wow, this is really nice.
So Bridge Plus has been our home for almost 2 years now, and we really love it. There's a real community here, and we really get the sense that people here are kind of in it together. We're working here, but we know how to play, we know how to laugh.
Now, Bridge actually plays an interesting part in our journey. So we've been here for like 4 months now. But what we can see is because of the community that is there, which has a lot of interesting companies here, a lot of startups, you can actually collaborate with them, network with them, understand what is happening. There's also official networking events. So that has been great. I think my staff, my colleagues can network with colleagues in the other industries or in the fintech space and build those relationships. In one particular event, I think the Ethereum Hackathon, we ended up getting access to a whole bunch of startups that we were looking to invest in.
I think fundamentally because of Bridge Plus's efforts to attract niche and more technology-focused or innovation-focused companies, we do have quite a few blockchain-focused companies in Bridge Plus itself, which is pretty rare in other places.
I think what a company really needs is support, and the environment here is very flexible. So you can talk to the Bridge Plus people, and they can, look for spaces for you that is actually catered to the needs of your company at that time. And you can scale down, you can scale up, and that flexibility is really crucial, especially if you're a small business and you have got cost considerations. I think that the little added touches are really nice too. Like the special community lunches, as well as the screenings, as well as coffee every day and the fruits, and these little touches actually really make a working environment feel very friendly and welcoming. And so I think the team love coming to work, and that's what we really want the team to feel.
It's a vibrant. I think that's a good point. It's very comfy and homely, and I see a lot of passion in this space.
I like that Bridge Plus is pretty casual, but still classy, and I like that they're constantly improving and trying to innovate themselves with new initiatives, new projects. So I enjoy the vibrant culture and the state of movement that's always here.
The thing that actually got us to consider this space, number one, was the accessibility in terms of the how close we are to the MRT. That is very, very key. Secondly, of course, rental is not something that is like, whoa, this is way expensive. I can't afford it. And to me, and of course, the facilities are new. You walk in here and it's like, wow, this is really nice.
So Bridge Plus has been our home for almost 2 years now, and we really love it. There's a real community here, and we really get the sense that people here are kind of in it together. We're working here, but we know how to play, we know how to laugh.
Now, Bridge actually plays an interesting part in our journey. So we've been here for like 4 months now. But what we can see is because of the community that is there, which has a lot of interesting companies here, a lot of startups, you can actually collaborate with them, network with them, understand what is happening. There's also official networking events. So that has been great. I think my staff, my colleagues can network with colleagues in the other industries or in the fintech space, and build those relationships. In one particular event, I think the Ethereum hackathon, we ended up, getting access to a whole bunch of startups that we were looking to invest in.
I think fundamentally because of Bridge Plus's efforts to attract niche and more technology-focused or innovation-focused companies, we do have quite a few blockchain-focused companies in Bridge Plus itself, which is pretty rare in other places.
I think what a company really needs is support, and the environment here is very flexible. So you can talk to the Bridge Plus people, and they can, look for spaces for you that is actually catered to the needs of your company at that time. And you can scale down, you can scale up, and that flexibility is really crucial, especially if you're a small business and you have got cost considerations. I think that the little added touches are really nice too. Like the special community lunches, as well as the screenings, as well as coffee every day and the fruits, and these little touches actually really make a working environment feel very friendly and welcoming. And so I think, the team love coming to work, and that's what we really want the team to feel.
I know it's you, but like, whether it's like by UNC. So, but yeah. Just like I went to lunch with her. I mean with them. Then she just passed me like, oh, okay. I kind of suspect if you tell me like.
Then that one make me like,
Yeah, the whole thing is not there anymore. Almost. I haven't seen her also. I mean, I saw Pace You. I don't know whether it's Pace You. That's like the only person I recognize. The rest of okay, everyone's different except the Sang Yan. Yeah. I think the. We have a space, but I think some of us are going back. They know like there's like parking tickets, so I park all the open area. Yeah.
sorry? Yes, the video, right? Yeah. Hi, everyone. May I invite you to come back to the hall for the next session, please? We'll be starting very soon. Thank you. Welcome back to the AI Demo Day. To continue from where we left off, we would like to now invite Mrs. Saga from Tukitaki for the next sharing session. Mrs. Saga, please.
All right. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks Bridge Plus and the SFF team to basically give us the opportunity to present. So I'm Sagar. I head the sales for APAC and EMEA for Tukitaki. So today I'm going to go walk you through how Tukitaki is helping fight financial crime. So before we proceed, just some of you who are intrigued by the name again. So we have some interesting names here. So this is again not a Japanese name, but it comes from a Eastern Indian language, which Tukitaki means hide and seek. So we seek data from the hidden patterns that are there. So that's the genesis. So quickly taking you how Tukitaki is fighting financial crime. So we all know that in the whole world, we have about more than 2 billion of money being laundered. And the sad part is hardly 1% of it is being traced and tracked. So there is a huge lot of work to be done to get this sorted and avoid all of these news of banks for all the wrong reasons. So just wanted to give a context in terms of what is kind of not working. So we have a lot of systems tools which are there, but the problem is that most of them are working in a siloed AML programs which are within the bank kind of thing. They don't kind of learn from each other's issues. The second is most of it is static rule-based, which fails to capture complex customer behavior. And number three is that we have a changing customer environment where in the last year we have seen how the consumer behavior has changed rapidly. So to encapsulate that very quickly into the AML system is what is the challenge. So which means that you have a lot of undetected AML cases which you are not able to capture. The second is you have a huge amount of backlog with large amount of false positives that are coming on the way. And hence your cost of compliance as well as the risk that you have is significantly going significantly up. Right. So what we have brought to the table. So we have not brought AI for the sake of AI being there to solve the problem. So what we do uniquely is in these three steps. And as you see the solution further, you'll know that why we are doing things very different from what the market is there for. So number one, we are taking a federated machine learning approach, which means that we are not solving a silo banks problem. We are trying to solve the problem for the entire ecosystem because everyone is fighting the same problem. So which means that we are able to break the silos and create these typologies and patterns and be able to share in a way that in a privacy protected way to across the institution, so that if a bank has a problem and identifies a pattern, a bank B in the US could basically be safeguarded against that. Number two, the way we have designed our machine learning models is not that to make customers worry about building models, creating models. We have made it simplified so that the machine learning base models comes automatically prepackaged, all the indicators come prepackaged and overlays on the data to very quickly do the deployment. And this can be done on an ongoing basis, not just one time, because typologies, patterns change very rapidly. Number three, we have a patent pending on the explainability framework. So this is very important, and that's why we have invested a lot in this, because as a RegTech company, this is our responsibility to make the models transparent and make it glass box. And this is all the way from a contextual explainability to a user, all the way down to the global explainability of the model, as well as each prediction that can be interpreted and presented very clearly to regulators and internal audit. So in terms of the platform, what do we have? So this is our product stack that is there. So you have transaction monitoring, screening as the key platform. Customer risk scoring is an overlay on top of that. More and more customers want to see a single integrated view of the customer and get one AML score rather than doing their due diligence process once a year or once in 2 years kind of thing. So this is on demand. Your risk score, integrated risk score is available. And all of the below things that the network science, intelligent risk indicator, champion challenger learning. These are all the elements that powers our engine on top of that, right? So what do we have within our AMLS? So there are three key modules which are there. You have the smart alert management, which adds the productivity component. So right now you're spending time with 100% of your alerts. We want you to focus on the top 5-10%. That's what we prioritize the alert so that you focus on the top 5-10%, because effectively 99% of them are false alerts. So this is what brings productivity to and efficiency to the compliance teams. The second is very important, is the AI case detection. So these are the cases that we are able to detect suspicious cases, which the existing platforms are not able to detect because of the complexity or that is involved in understanding customer behavior, because of which the suspicious case are detected. So this is a key aspect, and many of the banks are right now buying us only for this component. Lastly, typology repository management. This is what we are doing for the larger industry as a whole, as I said. So basically identifying the patterns in typologies, which is a living repository and not just a static library that we have. So we start with a base library and we keep building that from the banks, from regulators, from AMLS, from AML experts from the industry. So that's the living repository that is there, and that's what we are talking about. So effectively, if a bank in Singapore identifies a typology, it pushes that to a typology repository, and that can be shared across multiple banks in which uses different models by themselves. So what is unifying here is the patterns that can be shared across the industry. So this is what is groundbreaking, and we have got very good feedback from different regulators, and this is one of the projects that we are thankful to MAS to sponsor our FSTI grant on working on this project. So what was a kind of a concept a year or two back is a reality in terms of what we have kind of implemented. So this is more like a hub and a spoke model, where you have a hub where a growing repository is there, and the spoke where all of the banks and financial institutions can benefit from it. So effectively, how does it happen? So the tool and the concept seems quite complex, but the way we present to the users and the customers is very simple and straightforward. So once you have the repository, you download a typology from the repository. It's a one-click download and ingest. Once you put the ingest, all of these typologies is broken down into individual components quickly, and then we basically trigger our AI component and detect the case very quickly. So I'll run you through with a quick video in terms of how it runs, and then right. Thanks. So basically you saw how seamlessly we are able to create these typologies and kind of move that into production very quickly. So just to kind of wind up, basically it's not a concept. We have gone global. We have had our first implementation, and it is in production in Singapore. UOB is in news as late as this week, where we have been in production for a year long, and we have consistent results coming out. And not just in this bank, we have implemented the same package across different banks in different continents, and the results are fairly consistent from that angle. So so this was our phase, and now I think we are going fully out global because the platform is mature and running for a while. So yeah, this is a quick snapshot about Tukitaki now. We are anti-money laundering, federated financial crime, and recon suite is our key products, and these are some of the accolades that we have got over a period of time. So yeah, I think Tukitaki is combining the essence of basically AML wisdom in terms of collective intelligence, as well as automated machine learning to combat financial crime. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Saga. We would like to now invite Mr. Andrew Ang from Ada Technologies for the next session.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew, representing IDA Technologies. I'm the CEO and co-founder of IDA Technologies. So just a quick introduction of the company. So we are all co-founders of IDA. Some of our background, we used to run the Singapore government R&D agency called A-Star. So our CEO, Dr. Tan, used to run 10 of the research institute. And Dr. Shanali, our CTO, actually leads the data analytics team in A-Star back then. And I lead all industry engagement and ecosystem development in A-Star. So 5 years there, and we actually work with all kinds of different companies, all sorts of different technologies. And we've decided to set up a company, IDA, 4 years ago, specifically focused on providing AI ML solutions for banks and insurance, actually. Right. At this current moment, we have probably about 40 over employees. 13 of them are PhD-based data scientists with at least 10 years experience. Our solutions actually covered half of them are banks and half of them are insurance companies, actually. So at this moment, we have tier 1 banks and insurance companies running our solution in deployment across several countries from Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, and Hong Kong as well. So I mentioned a bit about the background. So these are just some of the companies that we used to work with back then in the R&D days. And because of all these experiences that we have amassed, in fact, the first AI ML solution that we've developed was actually meant for Visa, actually in 2011, actually. So because of all the experience that we have amassed over 5 years, and that's the reason why we decided to set up IDA. Some of the awards that we have, but specifically, basically, just mention some of the latest one. For example, SGD Tech Blazer Award under the most impactful category. We actually won it for a deployment of our insurance smart claims solution. So it's an AI ML solutions that's running live in one of the tier 1 insurance company here over 3 years already, actually. So some of the clients I'll mention later on, actually. Of course, we have got the Frost & Sullivan APAC Predictive Analytics Award under the Technology Innovation Award, actually. Yeah. So going straight into the solutions for banks, and then I'll touch on the solutions for insurance later on. So in terms of banking solutions, so what we do is basically end-to-end smart loans solution, all the way from looking at targeting which are the right customers, targeting them with the right products, looking at their risk score. So it's actually an alternate risk scoring engine that we've developed, which is non-rule based, and continuously monitoring them for potential NPL and even potential attrition as well. So this solution actually has been deployed at one of the largest banks in So this is the whole solution which I mentioned about trying to find out the entire whether who is a good customer, not just a customer actually, but a good customer. And that's the reason why I mentioned that we have to continuously monitoring them whether will there be a MPL or even status change in risk profile as well. So recommending loan product, of course, is something that there's part of the solution as well. The other solution that we have for banks is this actually, which is a traders surveillance solution. What we do is this: we actually take all the unstructured data, which are the communications information from the traders, which includes email between traders, Thomson routers and Bloomberg chats between traders, voice to text between traders. We will actually fusion this unstructured data with the structured data, which is the daily trade information, and try and determine or predict is the traders' behavior becoming more and more aggressive, for example. So again, this is to prevent the trading floor or the banks losing billions of dollars, right? So one of these, our solution has been deployed at one of the largest bank in Malaysia actually, and currently rolling out across the region as well. And we believe this is the only solution in this region, or maybe in the world, that is actually truly using an AI ML to monitor traders in the trading floor. Okay, so I just share with you a bit more about the details on some of the information that we extracted. So this is just a typical dashboard that we have, where we actually run through all kinds of different risk scenario. But specifically, it is for any banks or trading organizations that has got traders which they want to determine their traders' behavior. So some of the key risk indicator that we monitor actually, so which includes, as you can see here, manipulation, insider trading, misinformation, etc. We also look at, since the solution is being deployed in this region, we look at various Asian languages as well, and of course it has to include Singlish inside there as well. Now, mention about the customer engagement solutions that we have. So whether is it for banks or insurance customers, there are various solutions that we have in terms of customer engagement. For example, one of the use cases I can share with you, for example, we have got an insurance company in Thailand that is purchasing 10,000 credit card leads actually. And from those 10,000 credit card leads, they mentioned they couldn't possibly contact 10,000 customers every month. So what we did was, among the 10,000 customers, we actually segregate out for them which are the ones with a 90% chance of purchasing from you, which are the ones with an 80% chance, 70% chance, and so forth actually. And after that, second engine will look at which product should you be recommending to them. Third engine will be looking at connecting them, the customers or the prospects, with the respective right agents. And of course, looking at monitoring their attrition as well once they become a client. So moving straight into the insurance solution right now. So what we did is basically if you see the top part here, from a smart data capture, smart claims to the smart fraud. So this is our so-called end-to-end smart claims solution. This particular solution has been deployed in Prudential Singapore, running live for 3 years. It has been deployed in AIA as well. And of course, we have got quite a number of other clients in the region as well that's running this particular solution. So what we did is specifically taking any medical invoice straight from the hospitals. We will then look at which are the respective line item that's payable and not payable, and calculate out the payable amount in seconds. So essentially it is looking at trying to keep the cost of processing claims lower, trying to elevate customer experience. So instead of waiting for weeks, you can actually know how much you'll be paid out in seconds actually. So of course, the other part is actually on the fraud part as well, where we leverages unsupervised machine learning, non-rule based, to look at what are the hospital, doctors, clinics, or customers who potentially can be fraudulent actually. So leveraging all our experience, I should say 3 years of a deployed solution on claims, we actually went in to develop a solutions on smart underwriting actually. So right now we are working with one of the largest insurance company in this region to deploy our smart underwriting solution. The other solution that we had is actually a smart agent solution where we are able to help predict agent performance actually. So since we are able to predict agent performance, meaning we are also able to help you predict which are the right agents that you should be engaging actually or pulling on board. So agent performance is one. Number two is looking at agents fraud. And number three is looking at agents attrition actually. And last but not least is the client engagement, where I mentioned to you earlier on about our ability to very highly accurately target which are the customers that will be buying from you. So we believe this is the world first integrated AI platform for life and health insurance actually, which currently are running on cloud and also on-premise as well. So that's all for my presentation. And if anyone is interested, our booth is just right out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ang. We would like to now invite Mr. Session. Mr. Rahul, please. Sorry, please bear with us for a second here while Mr. Rahul makes his way down.
Hello. Hi, everybody. All right, let me just take this back. Okay, we can start from here. Actually, just a second. I don't know why it's not. Can you? All right. Sorry about that. I think you went through the whole slides. I'm Rahul, and I'll be talking about Turnkey Lender. We're a lending automation company that's also powering a lot of AI capabilities on our platform. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to just take you through 4 themes, or rather 3, and then we'll talk about just the solution of offering that we have. So we'll talk about telcos and what we're doing in that front regards to how we're using CDR files and providing microcredits. We'll talk about in-house buy now, pay later. So, you know, we've all heard of massive organizations like Klarna, firms. So we'll talk about that a little. And then we'll talk about some payment companies and how they can do embedded lending as well, all powered by Turnkey Lender. And, you know, just the overall solution offering. So yeah, going straight into it, let's talk about telcos and how we can use that wealth of data and kind of automate that whole process for everybody. So the challenge is pretty clear. Revenues from a consumption or usage perspective, average revenue per user is dropping, and that's the biggest challenge. So how do you, there is wealth of data and the fact that, you know, there needs to be a clear monetization strategy for that. So what we've done is we've built a platform where you don't need to write any line of code, and you can make multiple decisions across the platform to be able to decide who should get a microcredit, who should not, looking at various different patterns of usage and connecting that to, you know, how they're applying for various different loans. So you can see pioneers that are doing this with their wallets. If you have Axiata, you look at Globe, these guys are quite far ahead in that journey. So just real quick case study. We looked at various data points in the CDR files. We looked at, and we built out a pricing engine, and we built out a recommendation engine. And we're doing, so as we did this whole project with a regional telco, these are some of the results. And this is live, it's happened. And it's really, really powerful because we're doing about 200 decisions per second, and it's a huge portfolio of microloans that are getting offered, not as in the traditional sense, but in the sense of a very alternative way and alternative approach towards financing itself, where you're just offering, if you have, let's say, $1 and you want to use your prepaid telco solution, but you cannot because you're like, oh, I can't buy that data pack. So instead of you going to a small store and kind of doing a top up, automatically you're getting an SMS notification say, oh, here's another $1 for you. Use it, get your, kind of increase your average user consumption, and then take it forward. And next time, whenever you top up, I mean, just pay us back, right? So that's the idea there. And that's the beauty of what we're doing with telcos. The other thing I want to talk about is retail lending. So we definitely know that there are lots of various organizations that are offering a buy now, pay later, which is fantastic for smaller merchants who may have a larger ticket size that they would like to sell. Now, the fact is that it does charge, and it's going to charge you 6-10%, or which is fair, and it's going to take the credit risk off your books. But what if you're a really, really large retailer, a massive retailer? What do you do then, right? Do you want to share your customers' information to a third party? Would you want to retain that and be able to build loyalty internally while doing everything in-house and owning that full journey of a buy now, pay later offer? So that's what we do with some of the large retailers. And just an example of that would be some of these over here, Smile Direct Club, Serena, and Own It for Less. These are like in-house. It's a furniture company. They wanted to do, after COVID, wanted to do buy now, pay later, but they didn't want to outsource it because they know that they can always get it back. So we powered that whole system where you score, you kind of manage that repayment or that loan that you're offering at a very, very simple level, but then you can do it in-house for these large retailers. So Serena is a cosmetics company. So they do plastic surgeries, right? So in that case, it becomes very easy that you're owning that customer journey throughout, and you're doing in-house buy now, pay later. And that's where Turnkey Lender helps to fully automate that process for them. So yeah, this is another case study. This is Serena, and we took it live in 2 months, and now we can do it even faster. And the idea is to really, really increase the sales that they're going. They're going like multiple folds in terms of sales because they've had this buy now, pay later opportunity, but it's all in-house, right? And then I want to talk about embedded lending. So it's as a feature that you don't even feel that there is a friction to you approaching or getting a loan as a SME, right? So if you look at the payments ecosystem, and I'm talking about payment providers and all these different, it's very fragmented in Southeast Asia. So one way for a payments company to build loyalty with their own merchant base is to be offering loans, and to be offering loans in a very seamless process. And that's what we offer. That's what we enable with our decision engine. And the beauty of that is that you can go through attracting, retaining more customers, more merchants. You can make sure that the transaction volumes are going up. And it's not in a single fold of just lending to the merchants using that transaction information on a month-on-month basis, but it's also the fact that you could create a switch for your merchants, customers, to do buy now, pay later as well. And that's the beauty of what we're doing with our platform again. So yeah, so if we look at the payment system, there are two areas. So you have the payer. So you could create a buy now, pay later option via a payments company, or it is the one who is kind of the payee. And the idea there is that you pay the merchant based on their performance or how they're growing. And the same thing can happen in e-commerce. The same thing can happen across any ecosystem that has a large amount of traction already, right? So yeah, so what does Turnkey Lender actually offer? So we have our own platform where we have built a no-code platform that can help you make any kind of lending solutions work. And that's the idea there is to say we are purpose-built for lending. We have our own API engine. And at the same time, you can build multiple solutions. You can just have a customer portal. You can have a decision engine. You can have a collection system. Whatever you like is possible on that platform. And the last bit over there in terms of services, what we cover is the capability, the in-house capability of building scoring models based on large sets of data. And you can implement those in our decision engine without recoding them. So you're in essence, based on the Turnkey Lender platform, you're bringing data teams, you're bringing IT teams, and you're bringing the business teams all on one platform to be able to go to market really, really fast. And that's what we offer as Turnkey Lender. Just a quick slide on our decision engine. And we're doing about, like I said earlier, we're doing about 200 decisions per second based on bazillion parameters. Just an aggregated performance of our various scoring models that are being used by different organizations. So we've decreased bad rate, we've increased approval rates, and it's all for lending, and it's all for purpose built in that fashion. So yeah, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Rahul. We would like to now invite Mr. Thomas Ip from Asian Global for the next session. Mr. Ip, please.
Thank you. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah. Hi, good morning. I'm Thomas from IZEN. So while waiting for the system to respond, maybe I can start by, great, thank you. Okay, so these were some of the challenges that the firm IZEN started off to tackle when we formed the firm about 2 years ago. So we are a startup, we are about 2 years old. And one of the key problems was that we see was the lack of data scientists in especially machine learning deployment. So most of the end users are not comfortable to deal with large database. And first instinct that comes to their mind, let's employ a data scientist. And data scientists with domain knowledge is not easy to come by. So especially, for example, in the area of banking, you will need a data scientist with a banking experience to work with the end users. So those kind of matching was quite difficult to come by. And I will be frank, when I just joined the firm, I didn't understand what was how is this impact? How does this impact a bank? Until I came home one day and discussed with my wife, and her analogies suddenly bring me to my wife worked in a HR department of an oil and petrol company. So her daily job was to read through tons and tons of resumes. I was surprised. I asked her, don't you have a HR platform that actually recommend to you which are your top candidates, which are your bottom candidates? Yeah, we have one. We have a very big international brand one. But I don't trust the recommendation. Key reason is a black box. I don't know based on what criteria do they recommend me those candidates. And a lot of times, the candidate that she hired is not the ones that was recommended. Because her HQ in US has a different recommendation criteria compared to what we have in Asia. So end up, the recommendation and the actual action wasn't true. So that was actually how it helped me to understand that was the challenge between the business users and the business rules. And more sense, the business users want to take charge of the whole platform so that they can understand what is going on, and more importantly, explain to their boss what are they doing. So along the way, as we build Abacus, we actually, which is our machine learning platform, we start to build APIs into different, not only the core financial system, we start to move into areas like SharePoint, Teams. I will explain to you why as we go along. So one of our first POC was actually with Uri Bank and Uri Card. For Uri Card, we were doing fraud detection. For Uri Bank, we were doing credit scoring. And the end users very often do not understand how do we come out to that particular model. Why was that particular model chosen? And we were very curious, why does the end user need to know that? It dawned on us, they need to explain to their boss, based on what criteria were this model chosen. And as we interact more and more with them, we discovered they need a layman language. They need something that me as a non-data scientist could understand and could explain very clearly to my boss, why is this application rejected? Why is it recommended to be rejected, for example? So those were the key criteria, and they started to give us very useful feedback. Can your user interface be not a user interface? Say, I don't even want to see your software. Can you talk to me using a chatbot? Okay, so that I can follow a step-by-step instruction, and you can also come back and explain to me in a step-by-step instruction, ideally in non-technical terms. That was a challenge. But we managed to overcome that, and slowly we start to ask them, for example, to load a new machine learning model. Instead of asking them, do you want a regression model or do you want a classification model? They want very simple things like, do you want to start a yes or no classification, or do you want to do profiling? That is something that they can understand. Is it a yes or no answer, or a profiling project? Something that a layman can understand. So slowly, by doing the step-by-step instruction, they can actually start their own ML project. And because it's no longer a black box, they understand what is going on. They tend to start to use the system more often. So that was actually how we start to evolve. And currently now we are on POC number 2, which is slightly more interesting. We are bringing the machine learning from the banks to the SMEs, or rather to the various data economies. Why I call it SMEs is that most of them are subject matter experts. For example, an e-commerce platform, second-hand car sales. So we become a platform to help them to connect to the bank. So their end users could be anybody that's buying a second-hand car, and based on the credit scoring that they have given to the end users or the car buyers, we actually recommend them to different banks, because the different banks that we work with actually has a different risk appetite. So it was based on a simple logic like that we start to work with the end users, which the platform operators that has the data, and we start to connect them with the banks that has the other side of the data on how much loan can they award to different end users. So there was this simple matching platform. The key challenge that why they can't do it alone is that they will need to do a lot of integration, which we already have. So that simplifies the whole workflow on both parties' end. So that is the current project that we are working in Vietnam. That I come to the end of the whole session. Feel free to stop by our booth if you have any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. We would now like to invite Kevin Kua from Tiger for the
At
next sharing
Santander, we
session.
promote the digital.
Kevin, please.
Hello. I think we're probably running up to the end already of all of the presentations, if I'm not wrong, for this morning. So hi everyone, I'm Kevin from Tiger. My name, I'm the Director of Growth here at Tiger. And I'm here to talk to you about how we're going to partner all of the FSIs around the world to unlock a new wave of growth in FSI. Now, I'm going to tell you a really familiar story, right? The story that you're all facing today. The reality for you is that banking has never been more complex and connected than ever before. We're facing 3 main complexities. The first one would be information complexity, where you just have so much data in different formats to derive values from. Process complexity, where you have so many more processes and resources that you need in order to make things happen. And the last one, of course, is delivery complexity, where you require just more time and cost in order to design, deliver, and maintain any kinds of systems. Your challenge today is that you need to reduce complexity end-to-end operations because complexity equates to friction. And of course, friction equates to additional costs. Right, so whether it's in your mid-office in terms of your long compliance process, or in terms of errors in document checks, or even in your front office where you have slow responses to customers, all of this complexity creates friction, and of course, friction then creates costs. But in fact, McKinsey actually told us this year, after the pandemic happened, that banks and financial institutions need to, in fact, reduce their costs by 20 to 30% in order to reach pre-pandemic profit levels. That's a major step to take. Like, how are you supposed to reduce your cost by 20 to 30%? At Tiger, we spent years perfecting the art of reducing the friction in end-to-end complex and high-value operations, right? And that's where we are coming in today. From simple processes, single processes like invoice processing, all the way to end-to-end operations like customer onboarding, service support, and even recommendations. We've been there and we've done some of that already. And our promise to you, the FSI industry, and of course to the public sector as well, is to unlock better, right? Whether it's better productivity, collaboration, profitability, fulfillment, or efficiency. Now, we've actually worked together with one of the largest banks in the world to try and automate the entire process of customer onboarding. Let's take a look at this video.
In Spain, by providing them with all the technology they need to continue growing. And we do it in a way that is easy, simple, and accessible to everyone. That's why we are the first to offer companies the possibility to open their account in a 100% digital way and be able to start using it and obtaining products within just a few minutes. No papers, no journeys. And of course with absolute security through the use of artificial intelligence for recognizing deeds and powers of attorney, or by video calling for authorized representatives. Because at Santander, we promote the digitalization of companies so that they continue to drive our economy and be the heart of an entire country. Santander, the bank for all companies.
I'm sure you caught it over there, but basically we help them to automate the process of reading deeds and powers of attorney through AI. That's massive. That's something that people haven't really done before. So out of all the business cases in Santander, we actually took a look at the one case that was the most complex over time, right? The one that would actually require them to read the most documents and was extremely painful to them. And that's why we focused on customer onboarding. So in the past, they had to process up to 23 different document types over 5 departments. It took 3 days for them to do this. We have to cut this entire process down to just 15 minutes and reduce their onboarding costs by over 80%. And now we're happy to say that we were a small part of helping them become one of the best SMB, or rather the world's best SMB bank, according to Euromoney. Today, we're automating complex cognitive tasks and operations end-to-end, right? Whether it's customer onboarding, customer engagement, everything that you can see over here. And we're doing this, we're proud to introduce the Omnitive platform, which is a way that allows for you to be able to do this by yourself as well.
The Omnitive Studio is a low to no code platform that allows for any business users to build and train intelligent baseline document extraction models quickly and painlessly, then deploy and use these models in real business workflows.
Log on to the main Omnitive Studio platform page. A one-stop location to view all of your cognitive solutions.
We use Omnitive Studio to build and train models.
With a few clicks, you can create a new project.
We'll then upload around 10 to 20 documents to use as our training and testing sets
before defining the data points that we want our model to extract. We'll then annotate a few documents by simply highlighting them. so that the Omnitive Studio can learn how to read documents, just like a human would. As you can see, the Omnitive Studio requires very few samples to build models.
And you don't require any AI or natural language processing expertise in the process. We can then test the model we just built immediately and receive real-time feedback on the accuracy of the models, making everything truly transparent. Once we've hit an acceptable level of accuracy, there's no need to train more documents. This prevents overfitting. When we're done with our new document extraction model, we'll publish it on Extractor as a standalone baseline model on various app stores. Baseline models are decoupled from the data. This means models can be shared without privacy or security risk. Omnitive Studio can also be used as a desktop application. We can load up our new model, then immediately start using it to process the documents it just learned to read. Its ability to self-learn means not all data points need to be reviewed during each extraction. Users only need to verify the data point in question and amendments can be made instantly. Omnitive Studio. Unleash the human potential at work.
Yeah, so that was a quick sneak peek at the Omnitive Studio as well as the Omnitive platform. Now we've partnered across the industry as well to make sure that we can bring out the best of BFSI, the ecosystem, in order to unlock the growth of your companies as well, right? And in fact, we've helped to define part of the AI governance model within Singapore thanks to our work with IMDA. Very happy to do so. And we've already worked together with over 20 plus global BFSI companies. So our promise to you is to unlock your potential. Let us know how we can unlock this together with you today. And please do drop by our booth to find out more about the Omnitive platform at Studio. Thank you.
Well, what great insights from our thought leaders from today. Let's put our hands together to thank our speakers once again for their sharing. Before we break for lunch, please note that we will continue to have more sharing in the afternoon. As such, please stay tuned and continue to watch online at the AI Summit. For on-site participants, we also have a marketplace at the back of the room over there, where you may view various exhibits at your own leisure. Now, as promised, we will share first dips with you to tour our new space at 79 Robinson Road. But before we go, may I request for a quick picture, please? Our photographer will come on stage to take a photo of us while maintaining safe distancing at your seats.